Early years. Bill was born in Oklahoma City, Oklahoma, December 8, 1915, to James Charles and Patricia B. Hutchinson Stevens. In 1920, his family moved to Los Angeles, California. Education. He received his education in Los Angeles, graduating from Fremont High School in 1932. He then attended Metropolitan Junior College until February 1934, at which time he started working for Interstate Bakeries. The service. In early fall of 1941, he received his notice from the President that he was wanted in the service. He started flying in 1939 and had his pilot's license. When he arrived at Fort MacArthur, he volunteered for the Air Force. He was shipped out to Shepherd's Field, Texas, and immediately took the test for cadets and passed. He finished AM school at Shepherd's Field and was transferred to Davis-Monthan, Tucson, Arizona, where he completed cadet pilot training.
An Ode to Lois and Bill. It was many and many a year ago, in the kingdom of Pasadena, that a maiden there lived who you may know by the name of Lois. Times were tough and tensions building throughout the promised land, for Japan, Germany, and Italy had all declared war on the mighty US of A. It was here in this mighty kingdom that Lois met her cadet. He was wearing the wings of the birds in the sky. He was ready to fly, to bomb the nations who had the audacity to think they could win over liberty and justice for all. In the magical hours snatched, their love would grow. And the moment came on February 25th, 1943, that their marriage vows were said. Their love had grown forever strong, and Lois and Bill were wed. They moved around from place to place while Bill finished all his training. From Ephrata to Walla Walla, they traveled all over, their new life together maintaining. Then the final day came where Bill had to leave. He was off to England to join the men who were trying to save our great nation. In tears and sorrow, poor Lois got left, a war bride in waiting. While Bill was busy bombing the enemy, living in England and saying his rosaries, a new life conceived in their love was growing. Patrick Charles was born on January 5th, and Lois was beaming with joy and with love. Missions completed, Bill returned home. He met his first son, who he had loved, unknown. They traveled by car, this family of three, from Nebraska to Florida, the city by the sea. Bill was a test pilot of new planes of war. Lois washed diapers in salt water. Abhor! Mary, their daughter, was born by the sea. On February 8th, her life came to be. The war was soon ended after Mary was born, the Allies victorious and Europe war-torn. So Lois and Bill, their family now 4, packed their belongings and headed for new shores. Gardena, California became the first town that Lois and Bill and Patrick and Mary called home. For us was the job that took Daddy away. Mom took care of babies all through the day. A move to Linwood brought news of great joy. Another daughter was born, this time in peace. January 4th was the day of her birth. Sheila was born, and the world was blessed. All curls and all cuddly, and imp at her best. Pat was ecstatic, but Mary was sad. She sat in a corner with tears down her cheek. This little old bundle had given her grief. No longer the baby she now had to share. Poor Mary was wounded. She thought nobody cared.
The family adjusted to being 5. Pat, Mary, and Sheila grew, changed, and became more alive. Several years later a move came to be. This family had found another city by the sea. To San Diego they traveled and lived in a fine house at 905 Orma Drive. Many vacations and trips to the club, their playground of forest, of caves, and ghost town, made life so wondrous with fun times abound.
Then all of the sudden, after a Guatemala spree, Lois and Bill announced to the 3, "Good news, our dear children, you are soon to be the proud brother and sisters of a life soon to be." Timothy was born on April 28, 1956.
Life continued in the warmth of the sun, kids swimming, diving, and water ballet, parties and puppy love as teenagers emerged. And so they were saddened when Bill broke the news that L.A. was to be home for this family of 6. All belongings were packed, and the move was complete. New rooms and surroundings, and a pool in the yard, made this new move seem kind of neat. And so we all settled on Robin Hill Road. A new life for all began to unfold. Backyard parties, football and tans, swimming and beach trips made time spin away. Children grew, graduated, and some moved away. The first grandchild was born. Mary his mom, Joseph his name. Pat off on his own, and Tim still in school. Sheila in Washington in college at GU. Then children got married, lives changed again. The family grew smaller, the rooms emptied out. The family of 6 was now down to 3. More moves came, more grandchildren born. Hawaii and Palm Springs and Modesto, too, were cities that letters were mailed to. In the years that followed, these moves all around, while children were born, some children died. Mindy, first daughter of Mary and Joe, joined her creator months after her birth. 12 years later, Patrick, too, joined Mindy in heaven when he left this earth. These years were tough and sad and lonely.
No one could answer the question, why? But you stayed together all through these years, in spite of all the sorrow, in spite of all the tears. For richer or poorer, in sickness and in health, in good times and in bad times, till death do you part. You braved the realities that life gave to you. You stayed together and gave us stability. For this we do thank you and offer our love. Happy 50th, Mom and Dad, and me, Ma and Pa, all our love. Mary, Sheila, and Tim, Joey, Kelly, and Kevin, Jenny and Katie, Ryan, Jill, and Colleen.
Nine and a half years later, in the early hours of December 12th, 2002, God called Bill, husband of Lois, father of Patrick, Mary, Sheila, and Tim, grandfather of Joe, Mindy, and Kelly, Kevin, Katie, Jenny, Colleen, and Jill, great-grandfather of Sierra and Timothy. Bill is with his Creator, now visiting with Patrick, Mindy, the angels, and saints. He has left us here to live out our lives. His example can guide us. His humor is still with us. The love of his family will never leave him. Oh, Divine Master, Bill loved you so well. He said his 2 rosaries all through his life. Take care of him now with your loving arms. Help those of us that he left behind. Make us all instruments of your peace. Help us sow love, truth, hope, and joy. Grant that we will console each other, love each other, pardon each other, and remember that it is in dying that we are born to eternal life. Goodbye, dear husband, father, and grandfather, for you, now in your eternal life. It will be in just one blink of your eye before we all join you in your new universe of eternal life.